Hi everyone, this is Courtney from Ruby Red Farm. Today's video is going to take you through some afternoon chores and talking through where the farm is at right now in the spring. I have got to share the craziest thing that happened on Tuesday night. I'm going to grab the eggs a little bit earlier today. We had a late night last night and I was only able to collect about half of them about noon yesterday. So I'll probably have a few extra. I'm going to go ahead and grab them now. Oh my gosh. These doors are one of the main reasons Brandon went away from this style of coop. Shush! The doors on this coop are one of the main reasons Brandon decided to go away from this style. The way they're set up, that they fold down, they collect all those pine shavings and poo, and then you can't close them. Well, the problem is then they rot. And right now we probably have, out of the 5 doors, we probably have about 3 that are messed up right now. So hopefully in the next week we'll get those fixed, but there's a reason he switched to the other style of coop. For now though, I'm gonna gather what I can and then I'll go to the other coop and I'll show you how much simpler that is. Getting more and more of these little eggs though, so it's really encouraging. These hens in this coop are finally starting to lay. We're gonna do a full coop clean out here in the next week or so. And so we're kind of just saving the mess for then. We'll clean it out real well and wait until we're about to move them. Let them dig around in the mess for about a few days and then we'll move them. So we kind of try to do those things all about the same time. I really do enjoy giving those treats to the chickens. While it is hilariously entertaining, that's not the only reason that we do it. For one, it's good entertainment. They actually benefit from the entertainment of it, of searching and scratching. The more they can be mentally engaged, the better they will lay, and just happier, healthier birds, which is good. But on top of that, we really like the extra protein boost that it gives them, and that'll help lay good eggs. It helps them lay strong egg shells. And the last reason that we like giving them the treats is we can make them go to a different part of the pasture that they don't typically go into. We kind of need them to fertilize, but also eat the grass and dig in all the different areas where we have them. And so using those treats is a nice way to get them into a segment that they don't go to normally, and they'll do a lot of scratching trying to get those last few bugs. But they just think it's treat time, so they don't care. Come on. We still have a ton of broody hens right now. Every time it warms up, we get broody hens every year. So we don't let the hens raise any out. Big part of why we try to break them is because their bellies end up looking like this. They end up just totally in awful shape. And so we really try whenever we can to get them out of the boxes and throw them out. So yeah, any chance we get, we pull them out and throw them out just because it's so hard on them. These birds are loud. We'll move before I talk anymore. Phew, okay, had to get away from the crowd. They are so loud over there. I'm gonna have to start using hearing protection before much longer. Ended up with a huge egg haul today. This is a day and a half's worth of eggs though. They are laying much, much better. The main reason we were delayed is because we were out really late last night with the farmer's market. So last night was the first farmer's market of the season. It was a huge success. It's our 2nd season ever in this market that my husband and I actually started last year. We had one little hiccup with a card reader type of a thing, but that was something that hopefully will get fixed by next week. And other than that, our booth as a farm did great, and the market as a whole I feel like did really well. We got lucky and had nice weather, but I told my friend the main difference that I saw beginning of this season compared to the beginning of last season is that last year a lot of the people that came at the beginning were more of visitors, more of spectators. They wanted to just take in the sights, see what this thing was all about. Very passive, very taking it all in. Awesome, we welcome that too. This year, total different ballgame. This year, people were there to shop. They knew what they wanted to get. They know where they needed to go. They were there early, and they really went, quite frankly, to spend money. They were there to buy goods and support these vendors. And so lots of repeat customers from last year, which means we didn't do too bad of a job last year. We've got people coming back for more. Absolutely thrilled though with how it went. And for a first week, I don't feel like it could have gone any better. All right, I'm gonna move on though and get some feed because these birds have run a little bit low. My husband's home tonight, finally. After being gone off and on for the last 3 weeks, he'll be home tonight. But I'm gonna go ahead and bring at least a few bags out. Pro tip, start the string while it's laying down. That way when you go over to the feeder, you're not trying to mess with it while balancing it at the same time. All right, we'll grab one more bag just so that Brandon doesn't have to mess with it right when he gets home. This should buy us a day or two. For all those women out there who claim, I don't need no man, I need my man. I'm a strong, independent woman, but I don't like picking up heavy stuff. So these feeders hold about 120 to 130 pounds worth of feed. I put maybe 75 in each of these. So again, that'll keep us for a few days. And the hens, thankfully, still have tons to forage on. But we will, as I said, we'll clean out the coop and then we'll move them. And when we do that, we'll fill these feeders up all full and they'll be living it up here in the next week. You can see we're starting to get quite a bit of a thistle problem in this section. So we've been trying to push them down and let the chickens eat them, but even the chickens really don't like them. This is where you could say we need goats, but I'm not doing it. Goats freak me out and you can't make me get them. I've got one bag of feed for the meat birds. We'll go put it in their container and then we're heading to the garden. They don't need fed for a few more hours. So while I have my neighbor's house kind of behind me here, I have got to share the craziest thing that happened on Tuesday night. So my husband had been gone. He's been in Germany for a couple of weeks with the military. All was well. So he's back home, and he was only home for a couple days, but while he was home for those 2 days, thank goodness he was home, because one of the craziest things that's ever happened of us living here happened on Tuesday night. 3 o'clock in the morning, so I guess Wednesday morning, we wake up to just weird noises, right? Something doesn't sound right. And my husband wakes up and he's trying to get some clothes and find his glasses, and all he says is cow. It's all I can hear because I'm half asleep. He said something's wrong with the cows. We don't have cows. So I thought maybe the cows were out because that happens sometimes. So I'm grabbing headlamps. He's going and getting a GUN. I'm going and just making sure we have what we need, and we start walking towards our neighbor's house. Our neighbor's an older man. He's retired. His wife's in a nursing home right now. And halfway over there, we hear him yell out, "Help, I need help." So clearly something is very, very wrong. We take off sprinting, as you can imagine. And by the time we get over there, it had somewhat calmed down. But what had happened, 2 domestic dogs that were loose were completely going crazy and attacking his cows. And I have never seen a dog be brave enough to attack a cow like this. So there were 2 dogs. One was a real short, squatty, bull type of dog, and then the other one was a bigger dog that looked like a lab, to be honest. And I mean, when I say carnage, these cows are gonna make it. They're gonna survive, but their poor ears and the back of their leg, and there was just gore everywhere. Hi, baby. You're too big. I can't hardly hold you anymore. So we're trying our best to calm the neighbor down. We kind of looked around, couldn't find them, made sure they were gone. I ended up calling the sheriff's department. They sent 3 people out, and we were able to find one of the dogs had actually been injured pretty badly by the cow. And so we were able to kind of put it down, and the other one was loose. As far as we know, it went back to its owner's house. So it's in law enforcement's hands now. I think there might end up being a lawyer involved, but thank goodness the cows are going to be okay. Our neighbor took a fall in the chaos, and he did say he was pretty sore when I ran into him yesterday, but he's okay. And again, the cows are going to be okay, but it's a huge bummer. He had to call the vet out. I can't imagine what that bill looked like. And on top of that, he had told us he was going to take that larger one to the auction soon, and you can't take a damaged animal to the auction. So he's going to have to wait a while until that heifer heals up. But for the most part, all is well that ends well, so to speak. But really, really stressful. We kind of followed up with the animal control officer just to make sure that that dog that got loose was contained, because we have little kids and we have chickens. And now we're wondering, were those the dogs that killed our turkeys a couple years ago? Because they probably were. We've seen them running loose before. So this is just my PSA. Please, please, please keep your dogs contained. Even if they're great babies and you love them to death, if they're around animals they're not used to, you don't know how they're going to react. So please keep your dogs contained, particularly big dogs. It's dangerous to animals, and it's really dangerous to people as well. I don't even want to think about what had happened if my neighbor had tried to intervene and actually put himself in the cage with those dogs and cows, because I don't know that he would have survived. It was a very violent attack. So we appreciate having neighbors on both sides that are retired that can look after our property, but that goes both ways. We look after theirs and we look after them. And again, I'm just so glad that he wasn't hurt and that it wasn't any more serious than it already was. All right, we'll spend a little bit of time on my pepper patch here. So pepper patch overall, admittedly, is just not doing that great. Pepper plants, for the most part, are doing fine. Have quite a few weeds that have snuck in. This one here got attacked by a chicken, or something. It could have been a deer, I suppose, or a rabbit, but for the most part, if anything eats anything around here, it's usually a chicken. These thistles, I'm telling you, are just the death of me. Definitely got to use gloves, because they really hurt if you don't have gloves on. Then you get like splinters from them, which is awful. Definitely just pulled out a pepper plant. I'm gonna go get that. Nothing to see here. I'm sure it'll be fine. So I really am still liking the hay, but I'm learning it's a little bit like sunscreen. You've got to reapply regularly. So it doesn't completely get rid of the weeds, but it really does make a big difference. For the most part, these pepper plants are doing pretty well. I'm just gonna have to hold out hope that they'll turn it around here in the next few weeks. Looking good. Let me show you what kind of sad shape my garden's in right now. So you see this luscious green over here? All of that's weeds. So aside from a handful of volunteer pumpkin plants, this was tilled about a month ago now. And because Brandon was gone for most of the last month, we didn't get anything planted, so we didn't cover it. And all of these weeds have grown up just in the last week and a half. Because before that, it was way too cold, which is why my garden is doing too terribly. So let me update you on what's happening over here. So in the garden itself, the only thing that's growing well is the weeds. Every kind of weed is really thriving right now. Now my snap peas did come up relatively well. Right here though is where we planted those pole beans. And if you're keeping track, we have planted them twice now and have still had 0 seeds sprout. So I am now officially taking this as God's way of telling me nobody wanted to buy pole beans anyway. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and just plant another round of snap peas over here. They sell way better anyway. And they'll do well even if it does get into the 40s at night like it did all through May for whatever reason. So I'll replant this today. I'm gonna weed it real well first. Let me show you though our other green bean patch. So at first glance you might think, oh, that came up great, until I show you these are weeds. This is where the green beans are supposed to be. 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 green bean seeds sprouted out of about 100 that we planted over here. The garden frustration continues, guys. We had the weirdest May. I think I saw somewhere that we had 17 days in a row that were below normal temperatures in May. The main thing is it was getting a lot cooler at night than normal. And even on our warmer days, it wouldn't be sunny. And so the ground just never warmed up. People have asked, was it the seeds? I don't think so, because most of my seeds did poorly. And it didn't matter what company it was from. And it didn't matter if it was last year's versus this year's. None of them sprouted. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna just weed this all the way through. There's one area that has 5 or so plants together. I might let those grow just so we have some for us. But then I'll replant this area one more time with bush beans. And then the plan is in some of these new open areas that we haven't tapped into yet, we're gonna plant, now that it is warmer, about 4 or 5 nice rows of green beans and get that going, because we just need green beans to take to market, and we're not gonna have them for another 7 or 8 weeks now, which is super annoying. Tomato plants are coming along pretty well. I'll show you guys here. We've really had a lot more growth in the tomatoes the last week or two, just because it finally got warmer. As you can see though, the weeds are very opportunistic. Thankfully, because of all the rain we've had, they pull out really easily. But I'm gonna work on kind of getting this cleaned up this week with my niece's help. And then we need to buy cages for these. Brandon was interested in doing some kind of a Florida weave kind of an approach. We still might do that with some of these. But for right now, I need to at least stake these so they don't fall. These are my beef steak tomatoes. And then over here, we have more of our aromas. So this is the first time I've noticed them looking better. Because up until this week, they were looking pretty puny. So I can finally tell now that they are growing, and I think it's just because it's finally warmer. Quick look at the corn here. Against all odds, it's actually doing relatively well. I personally think it's probably still too spotty to really produce much actual corn, but we'll give it a few more weeks and see how it grows. All in all, again, we chalk this up to the cold that we had through May, but we're hopeful now that it is up that it might grow at least a little bit better here in the next few weeks. That half did better than this half for whatever reason. We're going to plant more corn though on the other side, and I'll talk about why. So our little lettuce patch is doing awesome. You can see the larger heads of lettuce are really taking off. And then all these smaller lettuces are really just doing awesome as well. We've got butterleaf, oak leaf, and then these fun, I think they call them like fasciated, real frilly lettuces are coming in great. That's what I plan on selling mostly to the restaurant. Lettuce didn't sell super great at the market yesterday. I think as produce season kicks up next month, we'll probably sell more of it when we get those shoppers out. But it's such a staple that we don't mind growing a lot of it. And it's pretty easy to grow. For right now though, I want to kind of talk about the plan for this other patch. So as you can see, the weeds definitely took over here. I'm hoping to take the stirrup and break up at least some kind of a patch over here. My game plan though, since the shade structure hasn't been built, and realistically it'll take at least a few more weeks to get built, over here I'm actually going to plant my next batch of corn directly to the west of these lettuce plants. I want to see then if I can provide some shade, create a bit of a microclimate, and kind of shield these lettuces from that really harsh afternoon sun. So right now I'm actually going to go see if I can clear that patch out. If it's going to be way too much work, I'll just wait and let him till it. Yeah. Right now it's way too wet for him to till, so I'm going to have to at least try this. That's why I got my gloves on. I think I can handle it, but I'm tired already. I got about 10 feet down. I got about 20 feet to go. So we'll join back once I get this done. And ta-da! And clearing this was super easy and not hard at all, and I'm not even a little bit tired and sweaty. Every week I say that I go back to work to rest, so I'll definitely be looking forward to that tomorrow. Got this all cleared though. I'm gonna mark some lines and put 6 to 8 rows of corn in here. These about 2.5 to 3 feet apart, and clearly being very scientific about this. All right, 5 rows it is. This can be very handy when needed. With corn, you do want to plant it relatively deep, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. And you want to make sure you're planting it in blocks as opposed to like 2 rows all the way down. You need to plant it in blocks for pollination. So I'm going to just work quickly and get these in the ground. Hi. Hi, baby. Good girl. Go. Go. I'm trying to work here. Alright, I'm going to keep working and get the rest of this in the ground. She's helping me pat them down if nothing else. Alrighty, I got all 5 rows in. I will check the weather. I either might just wait and let the rain water it in tomorrow, or I might sneak out here and try to give it a quick watering. But with this in and with the freshly tilled dirt that I created, I have got to get the netting around this so the chickens will dig every seed back up. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this middle patch here, get it kind of strung around, and I brought some extra netting over and we'll hopefully enclose the whole thing. Had to get that or it was going to drive me crazy. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and stretch this around the rest of the way, and let's see if I can get the kids to help me with this next little task we need to accomplish. She brought me a present. Good girl. Good girl. Good kitty. Little kitten update. They're doing pretty well. They have found quite the little home right here. This one's just being cute on purpose. Got Garfield tucked over here to the side. So the little bitty black one here, he was actually adopted by the mama cat. He was not one that she birthed. So a vet friend of ours let mama cat try and she did great, but now that Kitten's getting a little smaller than the other ones and kind of acting a little isolated, so they're gonna come and retrieve him today and take him and go get him some TLC, so he'll be getting back to where he was supposed to be all along. Everybody else though is doing great and clearly having a rough time of it. Really sad to see that one kitten have to go, but he's gonna do great. We're gonna end up keeping probably at least 2 of these babies because they're just too sweet. We can't let them go. The real challenge with that is making sure you don't run anybody over. We're supposed to get a new batch of chicks this week, and the hatchery sent us an email saying that they're behind right now. So we should get those. I think they're going to hatch on the 11th, which I think that was a full week behind schedule. It doesn't mess up our butcher schedule too much, and we purposely scheduled ours out a little bit late this year, so it kind of worked in our favor. If anything, maybe we'll have some more normal sized birds this next go round. Our first batch, we had a couple 7.5, 8 pounders in there. That's a little bigger than we were going for. Hopefully a 1 week delay might actually end up helping us rather than hurting us. We get these guys some water. And since we already got the eggs, I can now take the kids and go do one little fun task that I think they'll enjoy. I happened to glance up and I'm so glad I did. The cherries are ready. Come here, guys. if they're yucky, just throw them off the tree, okay? Can you pick some?
Mm-hmm.
The dark red ones. Let's see if we can get enough to make a cobbler.
I want to get in the tree.
Oh, it's not big enough for you to climb it.
Mama.
Yep.
How many I got?
Ooh, awesome.
Cherries.
Feel like we were just here talking to each other. So I will not show this whole process. Don't worry, this is not a video of me teaching you how to do cobbler. Just wanted to talk a little bit about kind of where we're at on the farm here this spring. So as I mentioned a little bit at the beginning of the video, the farmer's market has started. So we had our first market yesterday. That's a huge deal. We started this market last year and it's going really well. So with that, most of my time with that is spent managing the vendors. And really the majority of that is pre-season kind of things. And so now that we've started, ironically, other than a few stragglers that sign up late and a handful of people with questions and things like that, it's really not, thankfully, that much time that's required going forward. There is still time involved, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot less. So that's exciting for me. As for our farm, we have, again, some meat chickens coming hopefully on Thursday. Our layers are just now starting to lay, the new ones that we have about 100 of. And so if we can get them laying, usually in the past we've found that once they start laying, just where we see a handful of eggs, then it takes about 3 more weeks before whatever hen that is that's laying to really lay fully. And so since we're only seeing maybe 5 or 10 of those small eggs per day, we probably got at least a good month before all of those hens start laying and start laying well. But I'm hopeful week over week here, we should start seeing an increase in the number of eggs, and we need that to happen. We are still trying to sell some to the restaurant, although we just don't have that many available for them. We still sell out pretty much every day in our egg fridge. And on top of that, we're now having to kind of save a few back to take them to the farmer's market, which again, I don't mind doing, but I feel bad because that means some of my customers that do us the favor of driving out to the farm may not be able to get eggs, but we'll see. We'll kind of see how things shake out with the egg situation. As for pigs, you're probably wondering if you've watched our channel for a while, where the heck are the pigs? We are still kind of undecided on whether or not we're even going to get pigs this year. I think we will, and I think we will probably get them now within the next couple of weeks. Everything's set up. It's just that we knew he was going to be gone quite a bit this spring. He ended up being gone even more than we thought, so I'm really glad we didn't go through with it. And now that he's back tonight, we can get the pen all ready to go in the next week or two. And what I'm kind of thinking we'll do is maybe try to go to an auction or just ask around, see if anybody has a hog that is, say, already, 8 or 10 weeks old, kind of on the older side of what you would normally see. If we could get one that's a little bit older, a little bit bigger, I wouldn't feel bad about that because they'd be able to be pasture raised and kind of live the lifestyle that we're used to raising our hogs in for at least half of their life. And I feel like we would still get really good tasting pork if we did now. Now, if we did that, we'd have to make sure that the boars were no longer boars, but that's a Brandon problem. So in general, though, I do think we'll get pigs. A lot of times the pork is more of a supply for the following year. And so thankfully there's no huge rush. We can't get them butchered any sooner anyway. So we're not panicked about it. We don't make hardly any money on the pork. And so it's kind of take it or leave it. I enjoy keeping pigs. I think they're fun animals and they're definitely really worthwhile in the sense that we eat a lot of pork. And so we definitely want to raise at least one for us, but I think we'll probably raise about 3 or 4 total. We're not going to get a whole lot of pigs this year. Because of the chaotic year that we've had, we're also not going to be adding any new animals. We're not adding sheep. We're not adding rabbits as far as I know. So nothing crazy along those lines. And as for the garden itself, we're kind of just trying to survive at this point. With him being home, he is a huge help in the garden. And so I'm optimistic. I think we'll turn the corner here. July is always when things kind of pan out. And so June is when we've just got to bust our butts and get the work done and hopefully see those results really soon. Otherwise, I'm going to keep doing this for the foreseeable future here. and I'll see if I can whip up a cobbler and show you guys the finished results. But if you haven't yet, make sure to hit like and subscribe. With our channel, it's growing. We are still monetized, and right now we make about $1 a day. So it's still very much just a hobby for us, guys. Any ads that you see just automatically get put into our videos. We don't kind of choose which ones go in. We genuinely just do this for fun. So hopefully in the future we'll maybe make a little bit more money off of it, because it's a lot of time. But in all honesty, these videos and making them motivates me to do the farm work, because otherwise I would have been sat down watching TV a long time ago today. And one last thing, as a Hoosier, I gotta say it, go Pacers.
What?
Can you come turn off the camera?
Turn off the camera?
Yeah, my hands are messy.
Where's the camera?
Can you hit record, hit the red button so it stops recording?